welcome, Jason. Thanks for joining us. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Adam. Thanks for having me. Great to be here. And welcome and thank you to everyone who's attending today. You gave a few shout outs, and I've actually got quite a few folks that I'm working with that are logged into the webinar. So hello to Ahmad and Alayli and Alex and Amit and Kathy. Glad to have you guys on here. Nice to be working with you. I've got a lot of wonderful future ABS owners in the mix here. So nice to see you attending the webinars. And Ahmad, we didn't make the connection today. So I trust that after this webinar, I'll get a text or a call from you so we can catch up. It's been too long. Okay, so I'd like to throw back to a prior slide. I know this is breaking form and breaking etiquette. Am I allowed to do this? Can I go backwards?
Yeah. Go for it, man.
We're gonna throw caution to the wind here. I want to go back to our franchise dictionary ranking here in the top 100 game changers. So I've been affiliated with FranServe, which is the parent corporation that owns Franchise Dictionary, and I'm actually friends with Alicia Viscani, who is the CEO of FranServe, which is a franchise consulting and expansion organization. Alicia is an absolutely amazing woman. She's a fantastic CEO and a really thought-provoking and motivating leader for the FranServe consultants and for the franchisors that they represent and assist in helping them to connect with qualified candidates to grow their franchises with great franchisees. So this is a super high quality organization. If you have not connected with Franchise Dictionary, if you don't have a subscription to the magazine, it's 100% free. You can get it delivered every single month right inside your inbox. And they have a lot of great articles and suggestions as you're looking at franchises, and it starts to kind of cultivate that mindset of being an entrepreneur and thinking about business and operations and profitability. And you could do a lot worse than Franchise Dictionary magazine. It's a pretty cool little mag, and feel free to go grab yourself a copy of it. If you can't find it for whatever reason, you can email me or email your ABS rep. We'd be happy to direct you to Franchise Dictionary. They're great folks over there.
We're the best choice in there, though, right? ABS is probably the best choice.
Obviously. And we're also a fraction of the investment of most of those other opportunities. It's pretty difficult to find a franchise that has an all-in investment less than $30,000. There's virtually nothing less than a $30,000 total investment. And without taking up too much time, this is way off topic, but what a lot of franchises will do when they list on the franchise sites, if you go to any of these big franchise sites and type in, franchises less than $50,000 or less than $30,000, a lot of franchises will only list the franchise fee. Well, the secret sauce here is there's just about no franchise on earth that has a franchise fee above $50,000. So when you're looking and your search criteria is under 50,000, you pretty much see all franchises. So just keep that in mind. When you look at the total investment, not just the franchise fee, but the operational budget, the equipment, the location, the lease, the staff wages you have to have in the bank before you start adding all that up, and you've got strong six-figure investments with most of these good franchises. So if you're looking for under 30,000, you definitely found us. We're one of the very few opportunities.
Yeah, because we don't have a lot of additional back-end costs. But if anybody wants to check that out and go a little bit deeper, you can check out that research guide that covers potential operational costs you might have. So,
right, it's far less,
very minimal
than most franchises. The big thing with most franchises is there's usually some type of a retail footprint. So you have a lease or you're purchasing land or property, and when you add that in, land and commercial leases right now are just super expensive, in some areas. And it just, pumps up the amount of capital that you have to start the business.
Right.
But we are not here to talk about general franchising, as fun as that topic is. We're actually here to talk about the best techniques to grow a medical billing business. So today, what we're talking about is the sales and marketing strategies that we teach our successful owners to grow their businesses. And we've been teaching and fine-tuning these strategies for almost 30 years, almost 3 decades. So these are all proven strategies, and we have dialed these in to be easy to execute on. And you are taught this during your Jumpstart training that you'll do once you make your investment. You immediately start your training, and we take you through all these different strategies. And then in addition to the operational strategies and getting your company formed and structured properly. But today the focus is on sales and marketing techniques. The first thing that we want to chat about, though, is if you want to market or sell a product or service, you don't just walk out of your front door and just start knocking on doors blindly. The very first thing you want to do is identify your target market. And this is a critical part of sales and marketing, and one that a lot of people either don't know to do or try to shortcut. And that's problematic, especially in our industry. So what we have on the screen here is a list of the types of specialty medicine that tend to have the best results and benefits from our systems and services, and also tend to improve their revenue the most. And then there's a third category that's really important about these types of specialty medicine. As an ABS owner, when you pick up a client from this list, you make more money. So keep this in mind. We can help any physician that files a medical claim. We can help dentists, we can help chiropractors, acupuncturists, durable medical equipment. I mean, the list goes on and on. If they're filing medical claims, we're there to help. However, you might make a lot less money with some of the other practice types or specialty medicine types outside of these. So if you're gonna target your ideal client, these would be the ones to target. And we teach you how to do this in our training that you'll go through with your instructor. So Adam, is there anything you want to add to this list or talk about when it comes to targeting our market for our owners?
I think that pretty much covers it. Just so everyone is clear, anyone filing a medical claim form is potentially a client for you. So it's not limited to this list you're seeing here. I know that you said that already, but I mean, we have people doing billing for durable medical equipment companies, ambulance services, pharmacies, labs, all kinds of different clients. So it's just that these that you're seeing here work really, really well with all the integrated platforms that we've got. So I just wanted to make that clarification there, but that's it.
Hormone therapy, the list goes on and on and on. Psychology, we can service just about anybody in the healthcare space. So, but if you focus your marketing on this list, you'll make more money and your clients will have stronger benefits. So when it's a win-win situation like that, it's the most ideal. So you go through training, you've got your target market identified. Now, that target market still needs a compelling reason to work with you. It's not enough to identify your best types of clients. You also have to find that hook, that's going to bring that client to you and compel that client to go through the process with you so you can demonstrate the value that you can bring. And what do? We want to find the pain that these doctors have and show them how we can solve it. That's what we teach you to do in training. So, Adam, what kinds of pain points do private practice physicians have these days?
Well, specifically related, they have a lot of issues, but specifically related to what our owners can help with. They are historically seeing very high claim rejection rates, denial rates. They have a tendency to hire people that are undertrained to do a lot of the work. If they're trying to manage their billing in their offices, a lot of times they hire people that they are tasked with doing the billing, but also 700 other things they have to do throughout the day. So it's very, very hard for that person to kind of focus on those claims and make sure they're done right and followed up on. And every little aspect of how that claim is created and treated and filed and followed up. Every little bit of that, if there's any issue there or lack of attention, that could cause big problems for the doctor's revenue. A lot of times they don't even really realize it. Back in the old days, several years ago, it was easier for doctors to kind of just bring in the money and not really worry a whole lot about their rejections. But more and more these days, because of all the tight government regulations and new medical codes and new payment models, it's becoming more increasingly difficult for doctors to really make what they're wanting to make and needing to make, to be thriving. So yeah.
Absolutely. And, when I was putting this slide deck together, I was looking for a photo. So I was searching for sad doctor. And I got to say, this is maybe the saddest doctor photo that I think you could possibly find. So this is my favorite in the list of photos that I got for this slide deck. This doctor is not having a great time.
Yeah, that poor guy's seen some stuff. But
his rejection rate is like 35%. His patient collections are like 1.2 million. And he's on his 4th medical biller for the year, and his office manager is embezzling money from him. I mean, that's what this guy's dealing with.
Now, obviously, this is an extreme photo here of a really sad doctor, and haha. But a lot of times, I'm glad you brought that up though, because a lot of times they aren't really in this position of this level of despair, if you will, and they've got some money coming in, and that's good enough for them. And they don't really realize how much money they're leaving on the table and losing. So a whole part of our process, which I think we're going to get into, is to educate the doctors on what's truly going on. And that's what we mean by finding the pain. So we have this, are we going to be talking about the analysis? I don't know if we're bringing that up, but
that's not in today's, no.
Yeah, so part of the initial approach, we're going to actually show you all the techniques to get in front of a doctor. But then once that happens, we have this whole set of steps that we help you with. And part of that is to help the doctor kind of understand what's really going on. So we help you analyze their practice and give them a full report. And a lot of times they're kind of blown away by the problems that you're able to uncover with our help. And it really gets them thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was costing me this much money to collect this much money, So it's a whole process that we've perfected. But today we're going to just talk about the techniques for getting in front of the doctors and getting your foot in the door. So
I want to highlight one more thing with the pain points that we see with doctors commonly. Not every doctor has this level of pain that this guy sitting in the dark room with the overhead spotlight has. That's, of course, we're using hyperbole a little bit there. But what we see frequently is doctors struggle with very high rejection rates, meaning that they file the claims with the insurance companies kick it back unpaid. That's a rejected claim. And if you look at the statistics on this, doctors in the United States typically struggle with a 20 to 30% rejection rate. And Adam, and I'm catching you right when you're taking a drink, so that was perfect timing. What does our iClaim system and clearinghouse have as a rejection rate nationwide?
Well, it's almost unbelievable when you hear it compared to the nationwide average, but it truly is. It's less than 2% claim rejections going through our integrated platforms that we have. So that means 98% of the claims going through our system are being accepted on the first submission. That's almost unheard of with a lot of systems out there.
Right. So if you have a doctor with a 10% rejection rate when you meet them, they're going to get at least an 8% improvement in revenue, period. So let that sink in. Whatever their rejection rate is, when you sit down and do an initial analysis with the office manager, if it's 20% rejection rate, they're going to get an 18% improvement. That's just rejection rate. That doesn't count any of the other 12 services that we offer that we can pump up the revenue even more. It's pretty phenomenal when you start to stack these different solutions on top of each other and the doctor's revenue goes up 10, 20, 30, 40% or more. So identify the target market, find the pain of that particular physician, that particular practice. Every doctor is different. every medical practice is different. We teach you how to uncover the problems in each individual office and then deliver a customized solution in your proposal that specifically addresses those pain points of that particular doctor. So identify and then solve the pain that the doctor has. Pretty good 1-2 punch, but what we really need to talk about, and one of the main questions that we get all the time is, how do I find these clients, right? Like, how do I connect with these doctors? Okay, we've got a great service. We can increase their revenue. We can save them a lot of time. We can help them with inefficient practices. But if I don't know any doctors, what do I do? Well, we've got tons of ways to help you connect with doctors, and that's really the focus of this webinar. So the first one that we want to talk about is exploring your own warm market. And Adam, do you want to talk just a little bit about what that means, what a warm market is, and how we teach our owners to, kind of dig into that network to uncover potential leads?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Warm market is people that that either know doctors or know someone who knows a doctor. There could be a few steps removed there, but that's basically what we do with warm market referrals. Is we really, in our training, we really go through some exercises to get you thinking about people that you've met and people that that you may not even have thought of as a potential someone who could refer you to a doctor or someone who knows a doctor. So we really get into that, your church, your synagogue, your coffee shop. There's all kinds of people that but you may not realize that you could actually, introduce yourself as someone who could help out doctors and could potentially get a name and a phone number from these people. Business associates, classmates, people from high school, people from Facebook, there's all kinds of different warm market that we teach you to kind of think of that you might not have thought of.
Fraternity brothers, sorority sisters. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It never fails. I have someone say, "Oh, I don't know any doctors. I don't know anyone who knows a doctor." No way. Somehow you're connected to somebody. Now, you may not have a deep network, but there is a connection somewhere. So it's really critical to spend some time, and we teach you how to do this in training, to spend some time thinking about your warm market. We actually have a warm market exercise that you'll go through with your instructor, and you'll be able to explore those as potential pivot points to generate leads. And it works. I know this seems like a little bit of a, kind of softball for us to talk about, but I cannot tell you how many times I've worked with someone who didn't have anybody in their warm market, and then I get a call a couple of months later and they've got their first client. I'll give you an example. I worked with a lady in Northern California, and she didn't have any connections with physicians. And a couple of months later, I don't think she called me, actually. I heard through support, she got her first client, and it was like 12 doctor group practice. It was a pretty large practice. And do you know how she got the connection? After she finished training, she was having her hair done with her hairstylist, and her hairstylist said, "Oh, hey, what have you been up to?" And she said, "Oh, I'm starting this new business. I'm helping doctors increase revenue and get their revenue cycle in order and file their claims. And I'm really excited about it." And the hairdresser said, "Oh, my brother's a doctor, but I should introduce you." Boom, first client. Now, I'm not saying that it's easy. What I'm saying is, you're probably connected to your first client already. So don't sleep on the warm market. Now, when you're talking about warm market and when you're talking about networking as your marketing method, inevitably we get some hesitation and anxiety about, well, I don't know anything about medical billing. How do I talk about this? Why would a doctor trust me? Why would anyone refer a doctor to me when I don't have any experience? And the list goes on and on. And, you can have objections right out of a great opportunity. We've got a lot of great ways to help build your credibility and give you the right things to say when you're connecting with network partners, warm market partners, or directly with doctors and office managers. One of the ways is you have a highly specialized certification that only ABS owners have, and that is CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. And you exit our training program with these credentials, in your email address, on your business card, and it's underwritten by the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. And Adam, I'll let you add a little color to that.
Yeah, we wanted to come up with a credential that people could point doctors to let them know that they really did go through some training on how to do what they're doing. And so that's what we did. I founded the MIRMA.org site that you can go check out. And that's what's on the certificate that you receive here. So yeah, it really points to just another thing that's adding to your credibility in when you're talking with doctors and office managers. And you'll notice any of our owners that you end up talking with, if you see any of their marketing materials or website, you'll see that they all have the CMRM after their name on their signatures. Anytime we interview people, a lot of times they'll have this hanging up on the wall, behind them in the interview. So they're very proud of that certification. So we're glad that we can provide that to you, when you go through our training.
Sets you apart in the marketplace for sure. There's another thing that opens a lot of doors and gives a lot of credibility and helps people trust you faster. And that's this simple fact right here. Most doctors that work with one of our ABS owners improves their revenue 20 to 30%. So you want to talk credibility, you want to talk compelling reasons for a doctor to talk with you or an office manager, or for a referral partner to introduce you to a doctor or office manager. Who doesn't want to be a part of improving revenue 20 to 30%? And if this is the first time you're hearing this statistic, or maybe you heard it before and you sort of let the importance of it slide past, if you keep notes, this is the big gold star at the top of the page. 20 to 30% revenue improvement opens doors and gets you clients. That should be one of the first things out of your mouth every single time you talk about your business. So this lends credibility, trust, and a compelling reason to talk with you. There's another thing too. One of the reasons that our ABS owners are the solution of choice for lots of doctors is we're able to deliver such high quality technology and services, and you're able to offer so many different helpful solutions. Our owners can offer 12 different services to doctors, and you can see the stack of boxes there. We also have the best clearinghouse in the United States. It's a private clearinghouse. And Adam, you can add maybe a little bit of extra detail on top of that and talk about our technology partner.
Sure. So, expertise in terms of what we are bringing to the table at ABS. Our expertise is business development, marketing, finding the clients and helping get them to the finish line and signing a contract with you. That's what we're good at. Software development is not our expertise. So we have actually been able to, with the network of owners that we have all over the country, we have been able to partner up with some of the best technology companies in the country. And what they've done is they've allowed us to rebrand or white label their products. And they've reduced their pricing, their retail pricing, so that our licensees can mark up the pricing and make money on all of these services that you see here. And the really cool thing is, you don't have to do any of the work for any of these services except for the billing service, which we teach you how to do. But all these other ancillary services, the work is actually performed by us or one of our partners. So it's just really cool, really great way for you to make some extra revenue, have some extra revenue streams from all these different services. So that's how we do it. And yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and throw in,
Sure.
We didn't really get into the fees or anything like that, but ABS, we don't charge you any royalty fees, any support fees. We actually support you and train you for the life of your business for free. Because of our relationship with these technology partners, we get a small residual back from the technology partners whenever you put clients onto these platforms. So that is why we don't charge you any extra royalties or support fees, and we support you for life, no extra cost to you. And obviously we're highly motivated and we have a vested interest in you succeeding and signing up clients. So that's how it works. Everybody wins.
Yeah, if you're going on vacation and you have the choice of going somewhere where you pay for your own food and drinks, or going somewhere where you have all inclusive, a little wristband, and you just walk up to the bar and grab yourself a Mai Tai or a margarita. Which way do you go? I like all inclusive because I want everything and I don't want to have to think about it. I'm on vacation. I don't want to think like, oh, where should I go to eat and where do I drive and all that kind of stuff. American Business Systems is kind of like that. Our owners are able to offer an all-you-can-eat, bumper-to-bumper, comprehensive coverage buffet with every aspect of the doctor's practice covered. You know, you don't have to have one person to do this and one person to do that and different companies helping in all aspects of the medical practice. Our owners can do it all. So another thing to tack on to credibility, Adam touched on the new book that he has released here recently, but you have several different books that as an ABS owner, you get your name on and you get your name in the foreword of the book, which lends awesome credibility as you're out there marketing. And you can grab these books on demand. You can hand them out, referral partners, doctors and office managers that you're working with, and adding author to your signature certainly provides a little bit of additional credibility. Adam, do you want to add extra information on all the books that we have and the ways that we use those?
Well, yeah, we, you know, just to, I don't know. I mean, you mentioned that we customize these, but we actually will print your name on the front of that New Thriving Medical Practice book and also put you as the author of the foreword that's in the book that's already written. You can write your own foreword if you want to, but we have one already written. And so, I mean, that's just a huge credibility builder. We actually have a section in the training that teaches you how to specifically customize the book, mark up certain sections and bookmark and highlight certain sections of the book so the doctor can quickly skim through it and get the highlights. They don't have to read the whole thing. But, you know, you're able to educate the doctors, give them free education. You know, this book is a free gift to the doctor. So they're getting all this education from you with no expectation of anything in return. And I mean, what do you think that does to your credibility? I mean, your credibility goes through the roof. In fact, we've had licensees that have signed up clients just based on them getting this book, and they thought the licensee wrote the book. We have a licensee in California, Jennifer. Doctor called her up and said, "Jennifer, your book is great. It really helped me out. I want to talk. Let's talk about doing business." So she had to say, "No, well, actually, I didn't write the book, but thank you. And let's, here's my contract, and she signed up that client." So, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. People love the book for sure. And if you'd like to check out any of these books, your American Business Systems rep would be happy to send you an ebook version, and you can read that at your leisure. They're all great. And feel free to shoot your rep an email to grab one of those. Now, I haven't seen very many questions pop up in the Q&A panel. So either Adam, we're doing an amazing job here and there's just no room for questions because we're so thorough, or maybe everybody has passed out at their computers because we're incredibly boring. I'm hoping it's the former. But if you have questions about any of these strategies, the credibility, the services that you offer, any of the topics that we've run through so far, or anything related to sales and marketing, or maybe just ABS in general, if you have questions as you've been researching, please feel free to drop those in the Q&A panel. And as soon as we start seeing those come through, we will start answering those live. We're not waiting until the end of the session this time. We're going to take those questions as they come through. So we'll look forward to seeing some there. Now, we can jump into more strategies to connect with physicians. This is a big one. This is one of the most successful strategies that our owners have used. Just about all of the owners that I know of that have been successful have at least used networking groups as a part of their marketing strategy. Maybe not their entire strategy, but a part of it. So how does this work? Well, in training, we teach you how to connect with professional networking groups, professional associations, and in some cases, associations that are physician-oriented, doctor associations. Some of them do allow non-physician members, and we can help you connect with those. Even Chamber of Commerce is a good one. And I added a new one here. I forgot about this one the last time that we did this slide. We actually can help you connect through meetup.com as well. And a lot of these networking groups now have online networking meetings. So you don't even have to leave your house. You're doing these over Zoom or GoToMeeting. Adam, that's a question I get all the time now is, am I going into the doctor's offices in person? And am I going to the networking groups in person? Or, with COVID and all the other stuff going on, is this something where I'm doing it over the phone or using Zoom or GoToMeeting for virtual meetings? And the answer is a lot of the times it's going to be over the phone and in Zoom meetings for these types of networking events. So it's a great way to expand that warm market. You might know a lot of people and you may have a couple of leads, and one of those might be a doctor that moves forward with your solutions, but you might want to expand even farther so you have more reach, more contacts, and can get more introductions to the doctors and office managers.
Yeah, for those of you who previously, when we were talking about warm market, if you were sitting there going, well, I don't know anybody who knows a doctor. It's just, I don't know anybody. This is the step you want to move straight to, is the networking. And we're going to get very specific on our training on how to integrate yourself into these networking organizations so that you can meet people and build relationships. That's what this is all about. This industry, the revenue cycle management, medical billing industry, is all about who you know and relationships that you build. So if you're good at building relationships or work to get good at it, it's going to really take you far.
Exactly. This might be a great place to answer Alex's question about marketing expenses. We talked about franchise expense a few minutes ago, and there are some costs related to business networking groups and some of the other marketing strategies that we're going to talk about. It's pretty minimal though. A business networking group may run $100 to $300 a year. Some of them are free. Some of them are more expensive if you go into more executive style networking groups. They can be, in some cases, thousands of dollars, but those a lot of times turn into very, very high quality referrals. So it's your prerogative how much you want to spend on networking groups. Anywhere from a couple of hundred to a couple of thousand. We'll show you all the different ways that you can connect with these types of networking groups and Chamber of Commerce, but ultimately you make that decision. I would say I wouldn't dedicate a ton of budget towards networking groups. You may choose one or two to be a member of, but it's not going to be something that's going to be thousands of dollars a month. It might be 500 to 1,000 a year, maybe, if you select the more expensive groups to be a part of.
Yeah, a lot of times it is worth it. The reason why they charge those fees is because they really are going to put you in front of people who can be good referral partners for you. So you have to sometimes think about, well, it's worth making this small investment to join this group to be able to do that. Other marketing expenses are very, very minimal, especially now that everything's done on Zoom and done virtually. I used to tell people your main marketing expense is your time and gas money, but well, I guess it is kind of gas money still, since gas is so high these days. But that's another thing that's covered in our research guide, Alex. If you want to check that out, there's a page that talks about potential expenses you might have in running the business, but not necessarily marketing. I mean, we don't do big, mail outs. There's some people that still do that, but mail outs don't really, direct mail. It's very, very hard to get a good response on that. It's very expensive. Some people say, well, go out and spend thousands of dollars on a billboard. No, that doesn't work. Don't do that. Only like attorneys with like hammers in the picture need to be like on billboards. Hopefully that.
Alex has another question here, actually, that literally the next slide in the deck, Alex, maybe you have some kind of telepathic, magic that you're doing here. But trade shows and expos can be a great way to quickly connect with a lot of doctors and office managers and people that work in healthcare, even, medical sales reps and other types of professionals in healthcare that you can leverage to meet doctors and office managers. So it's a good way to get a lot of bang for your buck in one, kind of day or weekend. And Alex's question is, do you pay a professional fee to anyone from ABS to attend the trade show. And that's not really what we do, Alex, because the business owners, ABS owners, run their own businesses with their own business name, and you're representing your own company and services. So for us to be there would subtract from your value if you do meet a really high value networking partner or doctor or office manager. You want to be the one who's making that connection. So we wouldn't want to kind of displace that by going to a trade show or expo on your behalf. But we do teach you how to do it. There's a whole segment in your training where we teach you how to navigate the trade show and expo method.
I would like to add that, when you do become an owner, an ABS owner, you get access to our private groups, like our Facebook group. There is somewhat of a connection with people on that site. And, it is potentially something that someone might, for a pretty high fee, might be willing to do. But that's not anything that we facilitate, the connection of people attending the trade show with you, because we give you everything to say. Like we give you every response to every objection, every question, everything is provided to you. And, you have lifetime access to our support site, so you can review those training modules over and over and over again until they stick in your memory. So anyway, yeah. We've got another one here from Anonymous. Is asking, is there support for obtaining your LLC or S Corp? That is actually a small part of our training as well. We talk about different ways to name your business. We go through some brainstorming on how to name your business. We talk about where to go to set up your entity, why you would want to choose a certain entity over another one, LLC versus S Corp. Most people do end up going with an LLC, but a lot of it just depends on your tax structure and how you want to run your business. So, but that is something that we do cover in the training. So good question.
Great question. Okay, so next we're going to talk about lunch and learns, and this is a pretty effective way. I read a book here recently that talks about, one of the most effective ways to connect with someone is over a meal. It was talking about, sales and marketing strategies and what motivates people, and food is a really great motivator. So we teach you how to connect with doctors' offices and do lunch and learns either in the doctor's office or at a restaurant where they meet you there. You can cater food in, you can have pizzas or sandwiches delivered, whatever the staff's preference is. And then you have a captive audience while they eat. You can do a short presentation of your services. You can pick one topic to discuss, and we teach you how to do this. And these can be really effective to present yourself as the local expert, the trusted advisor, and give value to you, where it's not just, handing out goodies. It's also giving high quality information that a lot of times turns into that group taking advantage of your services. So lunch and learns are a great strategy. Very similar to lunch and learns is educational events. These are a little bit different though, because they're not sold as, a meal with a little bit of education alongside of it. They're sold as more of an opportunity to learn about a specific topic in depth. So it might be something where you advertise a specific area of compliancy that the doctors struggle with. Adam, you might want to shine a light on some of the compliancy areas that we can help doctors navigate. But those types of topics tend to draw doctors and office managers to these kinds of educational events. And again, you have a captive audience, and you can use that to pivot into doing the practice analysis and going through the proposal process to demonstrate your services.
Yeah, I mean, we can show you lots of different resources to where you can kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what's really going on in the industry and the things that doctors are really concerned about and care about and need to be educated on. And that's how you're able to kind of track that. And then we can help you put together materials, that are related to that topic to help you kind of hit a home run. And that goes along with the question that Alex is asking. Yeah. Do we provide videos and materials when we do lunch and learns and educational events? Yes, we do. We actually have presentations, keynote PowerPoint presentations Of course, printed, marketing materials that you can hand out, all kinds of good stuff for you there. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, Adam, actually, as I was researching this topic for the webinar, one of the things that I did is I went on the ABS support site and I looked at each of the different marketing strategies and the connected videos and resources that we have for each strategy. So, I hadn't looked at the training materials in quite some time. I've been with American Business Systems for 16 years, so sometimes I get a little bit of an inflated concept of myself where, I know everything. I don't need to go look at training materials. But I could not believe the wealth of information that was in the training sections for each of these different marketing strategies. You and I are just kind of skipping across the tops of the waves, barely even scratching the surface of each one of these strategies. When you go through training, you're actually going to spend a lot of time with your instructor, really digging into each one of these and exactly how to execute on each one of these strategies so that each time that you do it, you're able to uncover leads and then follow those leads through the sales process for ultimately a new client acquisition. So I can't even tell you how much information and knowledge there is in our support website for these marketing strategies. It's awesome.
Yep. A lot of good content.
And we've run through the questions that have come through so far. Big thanks to Alex for throwing several of those questions in there. If any of you have additional questions or comments as we're coming through here, feel free to throw those questions in and we'll get to those as we see them. Another really interesting strategy for finding doctors that need these kinds of services is classified ads. Quick story, when I was preparing this slideshow last night, one of my kids walked through and he said, "Dad, what's a classified ad?" Literally, he's 18 and he did not know. I mean, he understood the concept, but he didn't come from the newspaper era where, you go to the classified ads. And I had to really stop and think, how in the world does he not know? It's like, well, he's probably never even opened a newspaper. Now, of course, these days, we're not really talking about newspaper classified ads. We're more talking about like Craigslist and other job listing sites like monster.com and things like that. Mm-hmm. This is a really interesting way to identify potential clients, because if you look at this little post, and I just kind of grabbed this off the internet, they're looking for a medical coder, biller, or scribe. And how interesting. And you could seek out this, whatever medical practice that's looking for a medical coder and biller, and you could market directly to them knowing that they have the need for these types of services. So what a great way to identify. There's also another side of this, which is how do you research and gather the business intelligence to learn about this office so that when you do start marketing, you're prepared and you understand what that practice is and who's in it and how big the organization is and that type of a thing. And we teach you how to do that. Gathering business intelligence on a potential client is critically important for, before you launch into a marketing effort with them. So this is another great way to uncover potential clients.
One more note on that is a lot of practices, it's just, that's the way they've always done it, is they've had somebody in-house. Aunt Edna was doing the billing for them, and then she retired, and then they hired somebody else and they didn't work out, and somebody else didn't work out. They just don't even really think about having someone outside the office doing the work. So this is a great marketing method. We've had a lot of people get some really good responses from the ads here.
Yeah.
We got a question from Allison.
We have a question.
Yeah, Allison saying, thanks for answering the LLC question. Oh, I guess she was the anonymous. I have a few more questions. How much knowledge do you need for this business? Also, do you have information supporting on how a doctor can avoid a RAC audit? Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to give that one?
No, I'm not touching that one.
Okay, I'll take
RAC audits. It inspires fear and loathing in the medical community, and Yes, we do have RAC audit solutions. As far as avoiding a RAC audit, like, you know, a lot of times those are forced upon you, so there's really no way to wiggle out from under them. But we do have a service to help you prepare for a potential RAC audit. It's a service called Audit Guard, and we can actually help a physician prepare for that by going through a voluntary audit, where we pull patient charts and go through all of those patient files, and then the doctor gets a really nice report showing all of the potential violations, and then gets an action items list so that they can start taking corrective steps. So if they do go through a RAC audit, they can show that they have already identified the problems and are taking steps to correct it. And that can save tens of thousands of dollars of problems, especially in a messy office. So yes, we do.
She says, thanks, that's what I meant, scrubbing analytics before the audit. So yes, that's what the Audit Guard service, that's exactly what it does. So yep, we've got that solution. Good question.
We kind of glossed over the first part of her question, was how much knowledge do you need for a business like this? And Allison, hardly anyone that we work with has a background in medical billing or coding, or a healthcare background, or even a sales and marketing background. I'd say most commonly, the individuals that I work with are coming from corporate America, a lot of times closer to retirement. But it's not very often that we have a healthcare or billing background. So it's not necessary whatsoever.
It's a lifelong learning process, this industry, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why you have to really want to continue learning. But the cool thing is with our support site that we have, you have 24/7 access to this support site that never expires. So every night you can continue your learning, continue your education, and all the other resources that we point you to. So there's a lot of good ways to stay informed, I guess is my point.
Right. Adam, do you want to talk a little bit about our direct marketing strategies? Because that's a little bit of maybe you would say more advanced strategy. You know, you want to make sure that you're very well prepared if you're going to do direct marketing, because you're actually going face to face to the doctor's office.
Yes, so this one is a little bit more of a specialized, method. Some people would refer to it sometimes as cold calling, but we don't do that. So we actually teach you very specifically, first of all, how to figure out where you want to even go to start talking with people and going into offices. But we give you presentation material. We teach you exactly who you should be talking to, when you should be talking to them, because doctors are very, very busy people. We go into, the fact that sometimes you need to do this first thing in the morning, before business hours. Sometimes you need to do it in the evening after business hours, when they're kind of wrapping things up. But we show you how to befriend. See that young lady sitting there on the phone or pretending like she's on the phone. They refer to that young lady as the gatekeeper sometimes. And if you don't know, yeah, see, there she is right there. Just in case yep. All right, that's good. All right. So if you are not aware, a lot of times people that do this on their own and they aren't trained by us, they walk in with a brochure that they printed on their computer. Hey, you guys medical billing? You need some billing? I do billing. Here's my brochure. All right, thanks, bye. And then they hand them the brochure. And then as soon as that door closes, that young lady picks up the brochure and drops it into the trash. So that's not going to work. So we actually show you how to befriend the gatekeepers. And if for some reason you're getting blocked, we actually have methods on how to get around the gatekeepers and get information into the hands of the doctors and your materials opened by the doctors themselves. And these are secrets that we have kind of perfected over the years. I can't get into too much detail, but that's something that we cover, is how to actually get your material opened and looked at. That's the important part. So anything else you want to add to that one?
I think that pretty much covers it. We teach it in training. If that's one of the strategies you choose, we can have you very well prepared to directly market to doctors' offices. Now it's straight up 5 o'clock Central here, so we're going to have to wrap up. I do want to very briefly talk about this last marketing strategy, using medical sales reps. We could literally spend an entire webinar just talking about using medical sales reps. So rather than talk about how we do it and what it costs and all that kind of stuff, I want to tell a quick story. I'll make this very short because we do have a couple more questions I think we might be able to answer too. I was calling around to some of our different, more successful owners a few weeks ago, and I was trying to find some specific information on profitability related to using medical billers. So I needed to talk with some ABS owners who had multiple clients, larger clients, and had a staff of billers, because the question that I had was, what's the profitability if you're paying medical billers to do the claims filing instead of filing the claims yourself? It's not an easy question to answer because every single client you get can have an incredibly wide range of the income you might earn from that client. I want to tell you about one client scenario, though, that I learned about. It was absolutely incredible. This client scenario was a network of hormone therapy clinics, and these hormone therapy clinics had 17 practitioners between 5 different locations. And the amount of revenue that was generated for the ABS owner, the gross revenue, what I'm talking about here is the invoice that our ABS owner sent to that clinic every single month was $30,000. They were literally generating $30,000 a month in that scenario. They got that client through a medical sales rep. A medical sales rep introduced them to that practice, and $30,000 a month in revenue. Now they paid 3 medical billers full time on that account, and that was around $10,000 a month in employee cost. But if you're good at math, $30,000 minus $10,000 equals $20,000 a month, and you're not even filing the claims yourself. So if you want to talk more about using medical sales reps to get awesome clients like that, how about we just leave it at that?
Sounds good. Yeah, we got to move on, but that's an excellent resource as medical sales reps that we get into.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adam, do you want to maybe wrap up these last few slides? And I'm not sure we'll have an opportunity for the rest of these questions, but we can go ahead and click through these final slides here.
Yeah, guys, thanks for being hanging on here with us. We've just got a couple more slides. Talking about our price increase. If this is your first webinar, we have rolled out several new products and services and partnerships with different technology partners. So we are raising our price. Our price is going up January 1. I can't tell you what that price is because we're not sure yet. We're still trying to do the math on it.
$50,000.
It's going to be either somewhere between $500 and $50,000. We're not sure where it's going to land. Yeah. So if you want to get in at the current price or lock in the current price, give us a call. We can help you figure out how to do that.
Absolutely.
What else we got?
How to get started. If you're close, if you think, hey, I think this might be the year for me, 2022, let's get the business launched. We have all kinds of resources to help you. Rather than go through each one of these individually, just reach out to your ABS sales rep and they can help connect you with each of these resources. And there's so much information for you to learn. And we can easily send emails and deliver all these links to you. So if any of these due diligence steps on the left, if they don't look familiar and you don't think that you've gone through it yet, contact your ABS rep. Just look at the email that you used to log into this webinar, and you should have your ABS rep's name and contact information, and give them a ring. We do want to talk about the unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. No other franchise in the world has this guarantee. If for any reason in the first 30 days of your investment, you decide ABS is not the right fit for you, we issue 100% refund of your investment. I don't think much needs to be said about that. It's the best guarantee in the business. And the last thing we're going to say here is join us next week for why Q1 is the most important time to market to doctors. And every single year, the first quarter of the year is our top period for our owners to acquire new clients. So that's going to be the topic of discussion next week. Adam, we're 5 minutes over. Do we want to try to knock out a question or two, or should we just roll on?
Steve, you're asking about malware and ransomware and software security. We'd be happy to cover that with you. Our partner is NextGen. They're one of the biggest healthcare software companies in the country. They take security very, very, very seriously. So we'd be happy to go over their security protocols with you if you just get back with your rep. No problem on that. Allison is asking if we can share the average success rate of our business owners. We're seeing about a 10% dropout rate of people that don't get clients. So we're doing pretty good there. And it takes them, she's asking how long does it take to acquire billing contracts? That's different for everyone. Everyone has different amounts of time they're putting into the business. But on average, it's somewhere around 60 to 90 days to get a first client if you're doing this full time. So there you go.
Perfect. Super fast. Adam, thanks for having me. And thanks to all of our guests today on the webinar. Nice of everyone to join.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. And if you don't know who your rep is, just call that 866 number, 866-565-8413. And hopefully we'll see you in a training class or on another webinar soon. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
See ya.